My brothers and sisters, this is John Casilag and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Today's reading is taken from the 23rd chapter of the book of Matthew, verses 1 to 12. What does it mean to be a servant leader? What does it mean to bear the title of preacher, teacher, or even rabbi? In today's gospel, Jesus compares and contrasts the scribes and the Pharisees, who were the religious leaders holding positions of responsibility among the Jews, against what he described as a true servant. As he spoke to his disciples, he delivered a very strong statement against these leaders, saying, and I quote, "Do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you, but do not follow their example." End of quote. Jesus was almost ranting, speaking about how they preach but do not practice, how they lay a burden on others but do not help, how they are hypocrites as to how they perform their work only to be seen, and loving places of honor and their titles as rabbis. And then he goes on to direct his followers to reject the title of rabbi, saying they only have one teacher, to reject the title of father, as there is only one father, and he is in heaven, and to reject the title of master, for there is only one master, Christ himself. Some points to reflect on, brothers and sisters, on these seemingly strong statements of our Lord. Well, first, he asks us to practice what we preach. For those of us who lead, Jesus is calling us to lead with integrity, where our words match our actions and that those actions are consistent with the will of Jesus. God isn't calling us to lead without fault, but I think that He would rather that we struggle to do what is right rather than to be complacent in doing what is wrong. Second, seek the service more than the title. Jesus is calling us to serve with humility. He is more interested in our hearts and our egos, as our egos will always betray us, pointing the honor to ourselves rather than to God, serving only when it benefits us instead of others, seeking to build ourselves up rather than to raise others in grateful response to our experience of the love of God. Third, the call to service is personal. While Jesus may have been addressing the crowd and his disciples as a group, he was in fact making a very individual call for true servanthood. As individual scribes and Pharisees maligned what real service meant, individuals like you and me are called to raise the standard of Christian service to be what God had always intended it to be, one that is done with integrity and humility, saving souls for Jesus, one person at a time. I think that the rejection of the titles of rabbi or teacher, father or master wasn't really about Jesus prohibiting the address towards our leaders or even our earthly fathers. I think that this was about Jesus reinforcing the call for true, humble, love laden service that seeks the good of others rather than focusing on hypocritic, arrogant, and self centered actions that are inconsistent with the call of the Lord. What does it mean to be a servant leader? Brothers and sisters, it isn't about the titles or the authority or the power. It's about making ourselves available to be in the service of God our Father, who loved us so much that He sent His only Son to die on the cross for us. It's about thinking less of ourselves and more of others. It's about taking every act or service, big or small, as an opportunity to honor the Lord and to love Him with all of our mind, with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and all of our strength. God bless you, kapatid, and know that He thinks about you and He loves you. And if you're blessed today, do like and share this page so that many more may hear about this great, great, great love of God. Have a blessed weekend.